What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Ducks and Download. So in this comic breakdown, we're going to be going over not just a bit of D Squad, which has honestly been pretty phenomenal, some great covers, and what a phenomenal run in the middle of Dark Droids to get the D Squad back. But of course, we also have the Dark Droids main run of the comic, which is also now splashed over into the Star Wars main run. It's in the Dr. Aphra main run. It's also in the Darth Vader main run, Bounty Hunters. It's everywhere. The Dark Droids parallel has drawn a line through every single comic in the entire Star Wars universe right now, aside from High Republic, of course. So, let's talk about Dark Droids. Phenomenal. A lot of action and crazy circumstance as we pretty much, spoilers ahead, everybody, follow the story of a crazed droid, a psychopathic, must-consume everything kind of entity that was locked within the Famata cage. Within the Famata cage, after being freed by Sheely Aphra and her team, this entity, this droid, was able to then meet the Allspark after it was taken from Aphra, after Vader defeated it. It took the Allspark in, that AI, which then kind of joined into this weird amalgamation of one entity that began to spread over the entire galaxy by simply touching and coming in contact with other droids. Terrifying. Literally terrifying when you think about it. But it wasn't given a horror treatment. It was given your average comic run, which isn't bad, but I think this kind of was a shot in the dark that didn't really hit light. Now, as much as I am an advocate for getting away from the Skywalker saga, and I still stand with that, I can say that this was a really good read. It was a lot of fun, and I don't ever in this video want you to think you shouldn't go check out Dark Droids, D Squad, and all of the other comics now kind of wrapped up in the Dark Droids world. But I will also honestly say, I think Marvel and Disney kind of bit off more than they could chew with this story. It's a phenomenal story that has so much action, love interests. I would not have expected, spoilers, to get Sana being told I love you by Sheely Aphra in the Dark Droids universe. But it seems that's the thing that's going to be helping to end the Dr. Aphra run. And it's a weird note to leave out on. I want you to go read Dark Droids, but I also just want you to know the story, because the biggest problem I have with Dark Droids isn't the story, it's how it was handled. We have the entirety of the D Squad comics out now. All of these are out. Gorgeous. I love them. And of course, Dark Droids has been going for a little while with some very amazing covers and illustrations within its own comic. But now that it's gotten into every single other comic, which is fitting, again, fitting due to the fact that it's a droid that is literally repurposing every other droid it comes in contact with, becoming a hive mind. It makes sense for this to have affected every other comic run, and pretty much the whole galaxy. What I didn't expect was for that issue of Star Wars to spoil everything. You can actually see, guys, here, there is a spoiler for Dark Droids number 5 in Star Wars issue 41. If you read issue 41 before Dark Droids number 5, it will spoil how it is ended. Now, of course, the other issue I have with the Skywalker saga is we know how everything's going to end. We know Luke has to make it, Leia has to make it, Chewie has to make it. All of these people that are in the Return of the Jedi movie have to survive. So why do I care then? That's a problem. You've made this sentient, crazed droid who wants to not only obtain all mechanics, but transfer itself into organics, of which it actually is able to obtain in the end of the comics. What the hell? But during all of that, the very finale of Dark Droids is shown in this comic. Sure, I don't know how Ajax is going to get there, but I know that come the last moment when all seems lost and this prime entity, this dark droid, is about to take over everything, Ajax is able to plunge a sword into his back and kill him. So we know how it ends. We know it's not R2. We don't know what happens to the D Squad. We don't know what happens with any of these people, but I know how it ends, and that feels weird to me. I feel like the comics have kind of hit a weird still point, besides, again, High Republic, because it's a different timeline. It's more free-feeling, free-flowing. But with this one being so constricted, it was an odd time to do this, or perhaps I should say it was just an odd placement for the finale to be inside Star Wars 41, which came out, I believe, last week as of recording this video. And Dark Droids number 5 isn't set to come out till next week, December 27th. So there was almost like a month gap in between knowing how Dark Droids ends and the final episode releasing. I don't want to say it was bad, because I understand the need to put certain comics out at certain time frames to make sure that certain stories are progressing. But you guys gave me the end of a comic run. A comic run that I knew had to end. A comic run I knew had no weight behind it due to the fact that everyone's gonna survive this. This is just more reason why we need to get out of the Skywalker saga. Again though, please guys, do go enjoy Dark Droids. Once 5 comes out, I would almost recommend read Dark Droids 1 through 4, take in the D Squad 1 through 4 there as well, and then pepper in the resounding Dark Droids comics that infiltrate into Bounty Hunter Star Wars if you want. You honestly don't need to. The Dark Droids story does not need to be in every single one of these other comics. It makes sense, but it's not a necessary thing. It doesn't push the narrative of the story, except for in weird excerpts where you get to hear the Dark Droid talking to Vader or talking to Luke about becoming the Force, becoming the meats. Phenomenal comic series of just fun shenanigans from the D Squad. I absolutely adore the D Squad. IG-88 just suffering through having to be near Forlome, R2-D2, Chopper. I mean, so many amazing droids. And the way they play together was amazing, and the way they interact with one another. The fact of how Bounty Hunters was able to put Valence into this, which is what helps him get his mind back. The gymnastics that these authors and these illustrators are going through to reconnect this entire story and then get us back on track with how things are going to continue going has been marvelous to watch. That part of this, I give a 10 out of 10. But the Dark Droids comics itself, I gotta give like a 6 out of 10. And I love it. That's low for me saying that I love it. I love the story. I love the illustration. I just don't enjoy the execution as much as I have with so many previous other comic series. And it's nothing by the fault of the comics. It is just weird for Star Wars 41 to contain the spoiler for Dark Droids 5, which won't release till a month after. It's strange to have the D Squad and these bounty hunters, Darth Vader himself, affected by this Spark Eternal droid, this Dark Droid, that we all know is just going to end in nothingness because it's never spoken of in any of the movies thereafter. I want to know what you guys feel like. What did you think of the Dark Droid saga so far before we even get to its end? And if you're watching this after it's ended, what did you think of the whole thing? I would love to get your perspective, because the only thing we're missing at this moment is the conclusive Dark Droids number 5. But please, while you're hitting the like and subscribe button, because I'm so happy to have you be a part of this amazing community, do tell me in that comment section, what was your favorite and least favorite part of the Dark Droids saga and D Squad? I'd love to hear your guys' takes, and hopefully I just missed out on something that will really help put everything back together for me, because as you guys know, I'm a huge comic defender. The comics have helped the sequels, the comics have helped the original trilogy. The comics are just lore filled, and it's so amazing to read. But I think Dark Droids is probably plucking at the last straw we're going to get until we get into Return of the Jedi. So again, guys, thank you so much for listening to me just kind of go on a tirade about this new recent saga of the Empire Strikes Back into Return of the Jedi comics. I look forward to talking more comics with you all soon again. And as always, may the Force serve you well.